Landing a fully remote role is a real possibility in present day. But if you're applying for remote roles and not landing interviews, then your remote job search isn't remotely working. In today's video, we're going to take a look at why you'll never get a remote job if you keep making these remote job search mistakes. I'm Kamara, Toffolo, resume writer, LinkedIn consultant, job search strategist, and LinkedIn top voice, here to help make your job search easier because job searching shouldn't be this hard. Each of the mistakes that we'll be covering in this video increase with self-sabotage severity. The last one is a real doozy, so you'll want to make sure that you stick around until the end of the video to find out what it is. So let's dive into the remote job search mistakes you're probably making if you aren't getting invited for remote job interviews. If you're hoping to land a remote role, then it's absolutely essential that you showcase on your resume that you're capable of working remotely. I see job seekers assuming that recruiters will also assume that if you are capable of working on site and have done so, that of course you should be able to work remotely too, right? That's not necessarily true, and these are assumptions that really shouldn't be made by either side. Of course, priority number one on your resume is to show how you are qualified for the job to which you're applying. But when applying for the remote version of this role, it will really help our chances of actually landing an interview if we share remote specific things. These are things like that we're skilled in using the tech tools that will enable us to work remotely. So think collaboration tools like Google Suite, Microsoft Teams, Zoom, Slack, or project management software like Asana or Monday.com. And this might also include showcasing that we have worked remotely in the past if we have. And if we did work remotely in the past, we'll want to share accomplishments that show how well that remote work went. So maybe like how you excelled working in a remote environment and backing that up with metrics like productivity levels, or customer satisfaction rates and the like. Or perhaps how you manage projects remotely, what those projects were, and how big each of the scopes were. Or if you're a leader, then you can talk about how you led teams remotely, where in the world they were, and how you led your teams to do amazing things. For more information on how to write a resume for your remote job search, check out this video. I've linked it in the description below. Some jobs obviously can't ever be remote. Like, who wants to get a massage virtually? But many jobs can be remote. That said, even if we believe that a job can be done remotely, not every employer is going to share that same view. I see recruiters complaining online about job seekers who only want remote jobs, applying to jobs that aren't remote, and then hoping, wishing, and praying that they'll turn remote. Pursuing roles that aren't actually remote in the hope that you might be able to convince the employer to make it remote for you is really a waste of your time as well as the time of others. Now we're really lucky because job postings are typically stating whether a job is on-site, hybrid, or remote. And this is taking a lot of guesswork out of things. So if you want to work remotely, make sure that you are focusing on applying for the jobs that state that they are remote. And avoid yourself the wishful thinking and eventual heartbreak when you aren't able to turn an on-site role remote. Remote doesn't necessarily mean worldwide, even for Pitbull. Due to factors that are outside of your control, like where employers can legally operate, tax implications for them, as well as something as simple as time zones. Just because a role is remote doesn't mean that you can work from anywhere. While there are some remote jobs that are work from anywhere, just like we were talking about before in that you should be applying for remote jobs that stipulate that they're remote, you should also only be applying for those remote jobs you fit the location requirements for. So if the role says US based only and you live in Bali, you lucky bastard, then you probably shouldn't apply. But for that same US based role, if there's no state requirement indicated, whether you live in the Florida Keys or in the San Juan Islands, then you can apply. Remote is not a target job. Remote is a way of working. It is a work modality. Saying your target job is remote could mean millions of possible jobs. Except massage therapists, we've already determined that. Saying your target job is remote is like saying your target job is in office. Just like with any job search, your remote job search shouldn't be starting until you've identified your target job. You'll know that you've identified your target job when you can name its specific job title. Then, when you do start your job search after you've identified your target job, you'll want to be looking at job postings specifically that are remote. Why is it so important to have identified your target job? Because it informs literally every aspect of your job search. From the accomplishments and qualifications that you share on your resume to the stories that you share during interviews. But it also helps the people who you reach out to when you're networking, whether that be personal or professional connections, recruiters, or hiring managers. When you have a target job defined, that can help people in your network make a connection between you and that target job. The importance of identifying your target job cannot be overstated. Remote work can be particularly desirable because of the flexibility that it can offer us to live our lives. But landing a job that offers flexibility doesn't mean that you can be loose with your job search. Get targeted, get structured, and get your search on.